Well, hello, my friends. I'm so excited to be here with Lacey Locklear. She is the Chief Development Officer for Completely Kids. We're here to talk about a really fun event. Lacey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, let's first talk about Completely Kids and who do you serve? Just tell us a little bit about the organization itself.
Absolutely. So, Completely Kids is a local nonprofit really serving children and families in Omaha. And we do that through five main, what we call buckets of service that we like to focus in. And our bread and butter is our after school programs. We are actually now in 17 locations
Wow.
throughout Omaha, both south, central, even a couple northern locations, really just serving our children in that setting. But we
Yeah.
also fully believe in wrapping around our families with services. So we have teen engagement opportunities, we have adult education opportunities for our parents who are wanting to further their education, their employment opportunities. And then we have those vital services that support our families for food insecurity needs and mental health services.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the organization has been along for so long and it really has expanded and grown in the people that you reach and serve. But it does so much for so many. So thank you. I'm going to
Well,
thank you just first off for that.
thank
Uh,
you.
let's talk a little bit. Okay, so upcoming, this is one of my favorite events. Pinot Pigs, and now it's called Pours. It used to be
It
Poets, but now
is.
it's called Pours. And this is an event that's coming up in September. So give us all the details, the what. Let's just talk about what it is first, and then we'll go into the
Yes.
when and where.
Yeah, so Pinot Pigs and Pours, that was rebranded a couple of years ago to add a new component, is our largest fall fundraiser. It's really an opportunity for people to engage Completely Kids, and it is a wine and pork tasting event that now features bourbon. So really
Oh,
for
okay.
those that maybe
Yeah.
aren't a Pinot Noir drinker,
Yeah.
there are some other opportunities. So we have bourbon and craft beer available at the
Yeah.
event.
Wonderful. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit. Well, let's go. So silent auction, is there like I think there's a VIP time that people can come. So like when we get there, what's going on besides
Absolutely.
the tasting and there's a lot of chefs too.
There are. So, yes, I forgot to mention the date. So, it is September
Yeah.
22nd. So, we are 4 weeks out. Really, really excited. It's
Wow.
going to be at Champions Run this year. Beautiful location, has a beautiful veranda outside of people if it's a beautiful night. But yeah, so it is featuring 10 chefs this year. So, we have chefs from all over Omaha that will provide little bites of a sample dish that people can taste all throughout the evening. We will have 21 wineries featured
Wow.
throughout the event. And so people can go about the evening sipping and tasting. And I think what makes us a little different with this event is there is actually not a silent auction.
There's
There is
not. Okay.
not,
Yeah.
no, there is not a sit
Yep.
down component. And I think that's what a lot of people experience going to some of these fundraising events is you have a table of 10, you sit down, there's a program. Our event is really a great introduction event to people kind of wanting to dabble in the special events for nonprofits. You come, you pay your ticket, and you enjoy the evening. You walk around, you sip, you taste, you mingle with friends, and you can come and go as you please, which is it's a beautiful thing.
And I do know because I was checking out your website, and again, there's so much great information. First about Completely Kids in general on your website, but about this event in particular. So you can buy a VIP ticket, which gets you in like an hour,
An
like early.
hour before.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
reason we do that is all of these featured wines are wines that are pretty exclusive and they are available for sale in our wine shop. So people who want to purchase a patron ticket for $250 versus our 150 general entry ticket, they get in a whole hour before so they can taste, they can sample, and they can even put aside maybe some wines that have been a favorite before that ran out last year. I will tell
yeah.
you, there are several that we will run out of pretty quickly. We will also have pre-sales available for these wines. So if people have the opportunity and would like to get in the doors a little bit sooner, I think that patron ticket is an option.
Yeah, and again, September 22nd. For those who are familiar with this event, it used to be in June.
It was in May for a while.
May, yeah, and June.
Yes. And then after COVID, we
Yeah,
switched it with kind of wanting. And then we found out still kind of playing around with the dates, but
yeah.
September worked well for our vintages this year to make sure that we had the wine that was kind of promised. We weren't going through a winter. It worked out great for our committee and when we're having it.
So is there a deadline where you need to buy your tickets?
I would just encourage people to buy as soon as possible. As you know, it's a very well known event in the community,
Yeah,
and we love putting it on. So we want to have as many people there as we can. But right now, we'll keep the tickets open until we're sold out.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? There's a possibility of selling out too. I mean, that is possible, for sure. So let's talk a little bit before I let you go. How else people can support Completely Kids? Yeah, how can we help? What can we do?
Absolutely. So if people are unable to attend the event, we know how busy those fall months can get. They can donate directly to the event if they would like to on the page. They can make a general operating donation to the agency, but we also have great engagement opportunities. We have volunteer needs in our weekend food program that feeds over 700 children every single week.
Wow.
So they can come in and help us volunteer in that. We also do lots of great in-kind drives throughout the year. We're getting ready to kick off our winter coat drive to really make sure that all of our children have the proper outerwear that they need on sometimes those walks to school or the waiting for the bus to try to prevent illness and missing school and falling behind. So just some really great supportive ways that people can support us. But right now, we would love to have anyone that can attend come join us on September 22nd at Female
Yes.
Pigs and Whores.
Yes. Well, I'm excited for this event. The website completelykids.org. I know you've seen that several times as we've been talking here, but check it out. So many ways to support, lots of information about this event, and you can buy tickets on the website as well. So,
Absolutely.
all right, Lacey, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to see you, and we hope to see all of you on September 22nd.
Thanks so much, Andy.
Well, welcome back, my friends. I'm here with Mike Joyce. He is the Director of Development and Public Relations for QLI. Mike, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, we're going to talk about an event I absolutely love. It's called An Evening at the Fair, every other year. But let's talk about the event and kind of what is an evening at the fair.
Yeah. Well, we brag that it's the best fundraiser in Omaha, which we would not do if we couldn't back it up. So it is really, it's just an immersive event, fair themed at Baxter Arena. Basically, you pay for your ticket, you come in, and there's fair themed food and drink. There's 18 awesome fair themed games and a ton of prizes, live entertainment. And like I said, all that's included with the ticket, and obviously for a great cause. It is pretty surreal. You get down in there, and the decorations are really just overwhelming, and there's so much activity.
Yeah.
It's just a ton of fun.
I mean, I've been to it for many years, and I've been to it at the Baxter Arena. And you walk in, I mean, you don't even know you're in the Baxter Arena. It's like you're in a completely different universe, so to speak. And there's, like you said, there's games and there's food. One of the things I do want to ask you about is you have a Nashville recording artist this year performing. So tell us a little bit about Drake White.
Yeah, Drake White is coming. So not only is he just a big name in country music, I'm sure plenty of your readers and followers will know that name just due to his music. He actually has a special connection to our mission, which is neurological injury and disease, which we can talk about a little later. He has an AVM, which is something that you're born with. It's just a malformation in your brain, and it actually caused him to have a stroke on stage a few years ago. He's a
Oh,
younger guy,
yeah.
and obviously a scary moment for him and his family. But you know, someone here at QLI is a mega fan and had the good thought to reach out and just see if he'd be willing to come do this sort of outside of his regular touring schedule. And we're really grateful that he
Wow.
jumped at the chance, and he's been an awesome person to work with, his whole team. So
Yeah. And it's, I mean, when you have that connection too, I think it just brings, especially the people attending and everybody just closer together
yeah,
as well with
he
that.
really immediately understood what we're raising money for, and was really excited. We're grateful it didn't take much of an arm twist to get him to come out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, exciting. Well, that's a perfect, that leads into the next question. What is the mission and what is QLI for those who might not know?
Sure. Yeah, so QLI is a rehab facility here in Omaha, our one and only location. And we basically handle neurological injury and disease. So, our bread and butter is sort of acquired brain injury or spinal cord injury, stroke rehabilitation. And we're really that last stop in the continuum of care where the vast majority of the people who come through rehab here will go home. That's their next stop. So not only are we doing, physical rehab and all the things you think about, speech pathology and occupational therapy, but we're thinking about what's next for them. What does
Yeah.
their life look like after they've sustained this injury?
And your facility, I mean, QLI just in itself, and I've watched it since when it first opened, I mean, decades ago, and just how it's grown and really how the technology makes a huge difference.
Yeah, we've been open for over 30 years, and I can
Oh
tell
my
you it
gosh.
definitely looks a lot different now than it did back then. We have about 65 acres out here on North 72nd Street, and like to your point, we've added all sorts of spaces for equipment and technology, and continue to add really exciting cutting edge technology to different pilot programs and in our gate lab as this technology sort of comes into focus in how we can use it in rehab. So
Yeah, and I mean, just speaking of 30 years, Metro's been around a little over 30 years. So I mean, I actually remember being at, I think, the ribbon cutting or the donor opening, or
sure.
I mean, that was years. I can't remember what year is what, but it's come such a long way. And
1990 is when we broke ground. So
okay, yep,
yeah.
yeah, wow. Well, let's talk a little bit. We talked about QLI. Specifically, where do the funds raised go towards?
Yeah, so we have a really, really important program called Life Path Services. So I touched on it a little bit, and we're obviously very focused on providing excellent medical care and
Yeah.
physical rehabilitation and all of that. But I think the difference is that what is looking at what your life is going to look like. The
Yes.
people have come to us after often months in the hospital where they're just grinding it out day to day, them and their
Yeah.
families. And when they get here, they have to start looking at what are things going to look like when you go home. What's the
Yeah.
family unit going to look like? What's going to get you out of bed in the morning? How are you going to reconnect with your community after so much time away, and now with potentially some barriers, be it
Yep.
physical or emotional or cognitive.
Yeah.
And the Life Path Services Department is where that all happens. And it's unfortunately very rarely paid for by insurance. They obviously will pay for the physical recovery, but not so much the kind of emotional recovery or putting
Wow.
together the
Yeah.
families again and things like that. So that's what this is all about, is funding that program. So as people are here going through rehab, that they can really start to look and put the pieces back together for when they go home, for what the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years are going to look like.
Yeah. That really is like the next part of their life's journey in a space that they haven't occupied before.
Right. And it's just so important to their success, right? The physical and all that and
Yeah.
cognitive is important, but really knowing how to live a joyful, meaningful life when they leave
Yeah.
is as important, if not more, right? Than
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I would say the majority of them, if not all, I mean, they're there because of some tragedy that has happened along the way. So it is,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Their lives have been turned upside down,
yeah.
and totally broken apart in all sorts of ways. And our job is basically to figure out what's important to them and find a way to put those pieces back together and then send them on their way with a good plan.
Yeah. Well, again, September 16th at the Baxter Arena, an evening at the fair. Where can people buy tickets? And yeah, how
Sure.
can
Yeah.
people
Very
be there?
simply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. www.teamqli/fair will take you right to the event page. There's a big old button that says buy tickets, so you can't
Yep.
miss it. And yep, they're $200 a piece, but again, that's all inclusive for your food, all your drink, the live entertainment, and then a ton of games and prizes and stuff like that. So
And I will say now, if I remember correctly, I mean, there's games where you can actually like win stuff. I mean,
yeah, every I think
almost
virtually every game I think
yeah,
comes with prizes. So
yeah,
I mean, people walk out of there with just armloads of stuff. So if it's wine toss, you're carrying out bottles of wine or bottles of beer. There's tons of gift cards or gift packages,
yeah,
nothing but cakes. Doing a traditional cake walk.
yeah.
So
It's just fun. It's
yeah,
just
you can really
fun.
carry out some loot from the fair for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining me today. And again, this is such a fun event and this is such an important organization and you do such amazing work
Well, thank you.
for people, I mean, around the United
Mhm.
States. I mean, you really, it's just important work. So thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. This was fun.
And folks, we will be right back. Well, hello, everyone. I'm here with Casey Putney. He is the Vice President of Leadership Development for the Business Ethics Alliance. Casey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, we're here to talk about Ethics Space.
Yeah.
This is a great event coming up in October. We'll talk more about the date and the specifics on the event. But this conference. What makes it unique?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think there's multiple layers to that, right? One is we really are the only ethics focused conference in the Midwest. So
Wow.
many, there's conferences everywhere, but
Yeah.
very few, if any, ever really focus on this idea of ethical leadership and ethical culture. To the second layer, to fully understand what makes it unique, I think you kind of got to look at a little bit of history. Here in Omaha, especially for this year, here in Omaha, there used to be a company called Internorth, an energy company, and every single day, our friends, family, peers, neighbors, they went to work at Internorth. They invested in their 401ks. They went to work proud. They came home proud. Everything was working well for them. They were really kind of trading in on that idea of the American dream, right? Where you trade a day of labor for this idea that one day you'll retire and spend time with grandkids and travel to faraway beaches, and everything was going well. And along came another energy company from Houston called Enron. And Enron eventually absorbed Internorth. And certainly there was some apprehension as change is scary, but Enron took off like a rocket and was the darling of Wall Street. The stock prices were soaring, and so our friends, our neighbors, our peers, their 401ks were going through the roof and growing, and everything seemed absolutely wonderful. And then there began to be reports of accounting fraud inside of Enron, and we began to illustrate and highlight this failure in leadership, this failure of ethical leadership, culminating in 2001 when Enron went bankrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our friends and our families and our neighbors lost everything. They lost everything. They lost
Mhm.
that dream of retirement. I was just moving here. I took my daughter to a ballet company. She, is 6, 7 years old, and I took her in to participate in a ballet class. And the folks that ran the studio were retired, and they were in tears when
Mm.
I walked in because they had just lost everything. They were
Oh my
former
goodness.
employees of
Yeah,
Internorth. And so I think what makes this year really unique
sure.
is that we're bringing in Sharon Watkins, who is the former executive and whistleblower of Enron. So I think it's just going to be absolutely fantastic
Yeah,
to have her there talking to us about what that experience was like, what went wrong. So certainly it's an opportunity for everyone, and come learn a little bit of history and an experience like that, but also understand what your friends went through, your neighbors
sure.
went through here in Omaha.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I'm so looking forward to this conference, and she is a huge poll, and somebody to really come out and listen to. Um, there are other speakers as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have some breakout sessions as well. And Dr. Aaron Bass, who is a professor at the University of Nebraska Omaha, will be leading a session on ethical decision making. And Dr. Erica Kirby from Creighton University will be talking about the importance of communication and trust and open dialogue. And I think we'll find like both of those subjects played heavily into
Yes.
the collapse of Enron as well.
Yeah. And the thing I love, I mean, this conference, I don't recall how many years is this, the fifth year,
No, I think this is the 4th year.
the fourth year? Okay, I was close, but it brings the community and community leaders together to talk about ethics. And with the Business Ethics Alliance, that's something that those conversations are sometimes difficult to have, or you don't even think about having them. So just understanding and learning from the people that will be at this conference, it is what makes this so unique.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So let's talk again. So this is October 13th. So
Yep.
where is it? When is it?
Yeah, October 13th, doors open at 7:30
At where?
at the CHI
Okay.
Center. We urge you to get there early and
Yeah.
network and talk with friends and have just a really good time before the conference begins.
And I know there's also, are there still sponsorships available?
No, we're pretty much set with the sponsorships.
Okay.
We urge you though, like I urge everyone, uh, get your folks out to this conference. What an opportunity to do some
Yeah.
professional development and have them learn from someone of this type of experience and caliber. If you have anyone in an accounting department, you have to get them to this conference. You have to get them to this conference to learn about what happened in this experience. It really is the largest, I don't know, business collapse here within the United States. I
Yes.
believe it's just something truly for us to participate in, and I think we could all benefit from the conference.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Well, again, Casey, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on and talking about what this conference is going to be about. Like you said, it's unique, and I hope everybody watching come on out and learn something, and just be a part of the leadership and what this community has to offer. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We hope to see you there.